So in the last video we talked about developing the breath that we're going to use within our home practice. In this video we're just going to put some very simple movements together that you can do either at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, the middle of the day, and just start to develop the breath and the movement. And if all we want to do is these simple movements, then it's just a great thing. If we all could do that every day, what a difference it would make to us. So rather than being a practice for you to follow, it's really just an instruction into the movements. And then again, at home in your own time, you can just develop these movements, develop the breath and the movements together. And you can have the practice to last for 5 or 6 minutes, or you can continue on for 10 or 15 minutes. Again, experiential. It's how your experience, how is the practice making you feel? How long do you want to spend here? That's completely your choice. So at the beginning of any practice, we definitely need to take a little bit of time just to let ourselves become still. And this practice can either be done sitting like this, or you can be kneeling, you could be sitting in a chair, or you could be standing up, depending on what works for you, depending on what's comfortable. We want to be comfortable, we want to move with a sense of ease. So we want some comfort within our practice, not necessarily without effort, but certainly we don't want to be taking ourselves somewhere where we don't want to be. We want to just be sitting comfortably, experiencing the breath and the movement together. So first things first, we just allow ourselves to settle, and we can feel the very natural autonomic breath, our natural breath. That's the first thing we will automatically feel. And just take our attention to that. As you begin to tune in on that, then start to deepen the inhale a little. It becomes a little longer naturally, and then allow the exhale just to follow suit, so softening with our exhale. So take a few rounds of breath like this. Just start to feel the movement of the breath through the body and start to relax. The mind will automatically come to the breath. So take a few rounds, allow yourself to be still. And then start to engage Ujjayi. So we're already beginning to develop that rhythm of breath. So we bring in the audible breath, the ocean breath. And as we bring the Ujjayi in, we'll start to recognize the full parts of the breath. So rising up to the top of the breath, it's that little bit of space. And then again, the exhale just falls away and we end up at the very bottom of the breath, the foundation of the breath. And of course it automatically just rises from there. And that's how we're going to develop this rhythm of breath that we're going to use in our practice. So then bring the movement to the breath. So you can allow the arms to be soft at our sides, and then as the inhale rises, the movement just naturally begins. bring the hands back to the knees, but continue with the breath. And just for a moment, just recognise the stillness. And then recognise everything within the breath. So any sights or sounds or sensations. And you can roll through that motion as long as you wish. 5, 10, 15, 20 rounds of breath, whatever feels good to you, whatever feels appropriate for you that day, at that time. Next movement, we're going to bring the arms forward. Allow the back just to very gently bend, the chin is tucked. And then the inhale opens the chest right out, gently drawing the shoulder blades together so that really wide collars. Exhale. Everything softens into the base of the breath, and then movement starts as breath begins. Shoulder blades draw together, just receiving that inhale, and then of course exhale naturally follows. And when you're ready, again, as many rounds as feels good to you, just return the hands just softly to the knees. And once again, just take a few moments just to notice how you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more receptive, maybe you're a little bit more aware of the sights and sounds. Next movement we can introduce, inhaling, bringing the hands up, right up to the top. Exhale, just gently allowing ourselves to fold forward. And then resting at the bottom of the breath. So inhale. Again, rolling through the movement as many times as we want. And we're just gently releasing. So perhaps as the exhale leaves the body, the belly just draws in a little, and then we fold forward. The spine is round, the neck is soft. So if we're in a chair, we're just going to allow ourselves forward. We could have our hands on our knees, just gently lowering ourselves forward. Inhale, pushing ourselves back up. Whatever movement is available to you, as long as we're able to breathe, there is yoga. There is a movement that we can put with that breath. There is an inhale, there is an exhale. These are very dynamic. They feel great. The body really opens, spine lengthens. But they can be a lot more gentle. They don't need to be as big as that. So just finding a movement that works for you. So that's really a simple practice that you can put in place to work with the breath. So we're opening up the side body, reaching up, out wide, gentle back bends, ribs lift, chin lifts, so there's a little back bend there, and then we counter that with our gentle forward folds. And then in between the movements, we come to stillness. So we just give ourselves time just to experience what's happening within the moment. And any thoughts that pop into our head, that's absolutely fine. We need to give them the credence that they deserve, but then come back to the breath. And as I said earlier, this could be 5, 6, maybe 10 breaths on each exercise, with maybe 30 seconds stillness in between. But it's the beginning, isn't it? It's the development of a practice. It's beginning to experience the breath and the movement and how it makes us feel. So in the next video, we're going to move on to slightly more dynamic movements, and we're going to work on a practice that we can do early in the morning, perhaps to get ourselves moving, and then maybe we'll also look at something very gentle that we might want to do in the evenings as well. And so we'll begin to just very naturally develop a home practice, and a home practice which is the right practice for us.